Hi, this is Adam Onslaught for the Global Onslaught. Well, a few weeks ago, and it seems like a few weeks ago, I was at Download Festival in Castle Donington, the Midlands. And while I was there, I bumped into somebody. Quite an interesting chap, actually. He's got a varied musical history, to say the least. And it's just, as we say in the UK, a bloody nice bloke. Kenwyn House is with us this evening from the band Goldray. Good evening, Kenwyn.
All right, mate. How you doing?
I'm very, very well, thank you very much. Thank you for joining us here on this. Well, let me look out the window now. It's pissing down and it's grey. Quite a contrast, really, to when we met before in the greenhouse, which is known as the press tent at Download.
Oh my God, it was warm, wasn't it? It was actually a really warm festival. Actually, it was great.
It was in all the senses as well. I mean, there was a great mixture of bands, and I think with the weather as well, it kind of made it a bit. It felt a little bit more lighter this year, a bit more sort of free. I don't know, maybe a little bit Woodstocky.
It felt there was a devil may care attitude, wasn't there? It was really good.
Yeah,
it was really nice.
And as I said to someone before, then everyone was wearing black. I couldn't understand it. It was too, it was too hot for that sort of caper. But anyway, let's talk about you, because I instantly recognised you the moment that I bumped into you from your days with the band Reef, and of course you had great success with those guys in the 90s. It was must have been a hell of a ride. And now you're here again with Goldray. So just talk me through it, because obviously Reef was a bright flame that shone very, very bright for a period of time, and then it sort of disappeared. I'm quite interested to find out, actually, from yourself, if you want to talk about that, is what happened after that? Why did Reef disappear?
Well, I think every idea or every band or everything that you can get together has a period of time. Sometimes when it does exactly what you're saying, burns really brightly, and then it kind of things naturally run out of steam. I think that also at that time, I think major labels used to work bands in ways that kind of led to bands imploding on themselves anyway, if you know what I mean. We were on, I remember talking to our singer Gary, and he keeps a diary, and I'm not that anal. And I asked him, I said, how many gigs did we do in that year? Because I knew he kept a diary, and he looked in his diary, and it was like 230 something gigs, and that's not including at the time the TV performances and all the other things and the travel days between things. So that that in itself, you can be as good with a bunch of people as anything, but you put people through that for enough years, and it kind of implodes on itself after a while. But having said that, we had a few good years, and we were to be signed to a major label for 9 years is bloody good in this day and age, especially.
It certainly is, and it's probably something that most bands will not experience these days, because it's such a sort of off-the-shelf, quick fire solution. Band in a package, let's sign them. They've already done the hard work in terms of recording and production, and even the artwork, even some of marketing. They've even got their stuff on Amazon, and they've got them stuff on on all the other sites. And I think labels will then pick them up. But in your day, I guess, when you started out, it was very, very different.
It was a different thing. I suppose in those days, all you needed to do was get a band together, write some songs, do some gigs, and hope someone turned up. That's kind of what we did, plus also get a demo together. But nowadays, you're expected to do all this other stuff, this social media. How much time does Facebook and Twitter and finding basically ammo for all of that, got to be a photographer, you've got to be all of these things these days, which takes so much more. In some ways I look back at the old days and think, God, all I used to do was just play guitar and turn up to rehearsals and go to gigs, and that was it, But there's a whole lot of other stuff now, I suppose. There is.
And there's also, I think you look at sort of to look at it in a different way. As in the old days, you probably made, I won't say less money, or potentially made less money than you could do now, because you know most bands, or a lot of bands, can cut management out. They can cut out artwork. Paying someone to do the artwork, the production. They can do everything they can manage their own budgets these days.
True.
Do you prefer the way it works now? Do you prefer the way it used to work?
I'm split really, because I'm all for having more money, but I just think that there are certain things where I just want to be a musician and a songwriter and a producer and a performer. That's the creative side of it is where I feel I'm strongest. And maybe, it can be frustrating for us creative types having to do things we're not particularly good at, which is, ring up people in offices and talk to them about stuff that you don't really understand as much as they do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm crap with percentages.
Yeah, it's just that, and thinking, am I at my depth here? Am I talking crap to this guy? Am I asking for too much? Am I asking for too little? What's the situation? Where's my manager? And that's the moment you look for your manager, and obviously in this day and age, he's not there. It's we're at the stage now, I reckon, with Goldray where we really want the responsibilities, because we've done a couple of years now where it's just us doing it, and we get to this stage now and we really just want to have the shackles taken off so we can just be on the road or in the studio or in a rehearsal room doing what we love doing, and delegate that kind of thing to someone else. But then in this day and age, that's until you're it comes a lot later. You have to put a lot more effort and energy and money, time and everything in before that actually happens. But hopefully, touching wood right now, that's where we're at the minute.
So with you've got a new self-titled like a mini album, you've called it, but it's kind of like an extended EP, I guess, in a fashion.
Yeah.
You've put that out, and of course now I hear that you're going to be putting a full album out as well. When's that going to happen?
Well, probably early next year. We're looking at that, when new bands generally release sometime between January and March, don't they? So we're looking at that for a window. And we're looking at it now thinking, if a label gets interest now, we were going to release later on this year, but we're going to probably release later on, because they usually like 3 or 4 months up front to put all the PR in place and, advance stuff to radio and TV and get stuff moving. They like at least that to make it work press-wise as well. And I'm just looking at it realistically. It's probably early next year, and which is not too bad. I mean, we thought rather than release just go bang straight with a full debut album, is that we had songs that were going to go on our album, and we were thinking we could do with getting something out there, let people know about it. So it's a glorified EP really, but because our songs are so long, we could get away with calling it a mini album.
It's almost as long as a concept album. I'm only kidding.
We're using.
So, interesting question I want to ask is, how did you make the transition from hard rock, which Reef was hard rock, to this, which is like psychedelic, more intricate? It's not all 4/4 balls out sort of rock.
I know what you're saying.
It's quite subtle and it's quite gentle in some places, obviously with the vocals as well. Very, very different. It's kind of like a world apart from your previous projects.
Well,
how have you found that?
Do you know what? That's it's nice. It's nice. I suppose writing with a female voice has changed how I would write, and in many ways, I prefer that. I can write in keys now that that only the highest screamers can reach in rock bands. Do you know what I'm saying? Which is great. And to be honest, I feel like, in Reef, I'm very happy and proud of what I did in that band. But in many ways, that it was all like it was a 4-way writing process. Obviously, as a guitarist, you put quite a lot in as a writer if you're writing in a rehearsal room, because you write a lot of the chord progressions and stuff and the riffs and the hooks in that side of it away from the vocal. But it was still very much a collective thing in Reef, where we all kind of, there was no, but with this, it's more from my heart and more from Leah's heart. It's
it's more of a personal project to you. It's more, from listening to both bands, it feels to me that this is more, how can I put it? The best way to put this would be perhaps like a labour of love rather than, like a
you're absolutely
job.
Right.
Do
you know what? That's
more
actually
of a painting. It's like artists with a painting.
You kind of hit the nail on the head there. I mean, Reef wasn't just a job, but I see what you're saying. In comparison to this, it was more that, and this is a labour of love, it is a labour of love.
And being on site at the moment as well, you're in a better position than having the pressure, I guess, from having a label banging the drum at you, going, you must do this, you must do that, you must do this, you must do that.
Yeah, I'm enjoying that freedom, actually. I mean, to be honest, on the first two albums with Reef, it was very, we were kind of doing pretty much what we wanted to do, and the label were kind of into that. But as people change within inside organisations, the relationships can break down. So by the third and fourth album, having that major label ball ache, it is not so great. We're fully in charge of our direction. We're fully in charge of where we want to go and the music we're making with this. And I tell you, I'm really enjoying that. That's what I really enjoy.
What brings it to you in terms of what bands were you listening to when you were a kid?
Oh my God. I suppose, well, it was my brother and sister's fault. But when I was about 7 years old, my sister had a boyfriend, and he came through the door and he had long hair and he had Led Zeppelin records under his arm and a guitar. My life changed from there on, to be really honest. And from there, I just, as a kid, I was just listening to the music that my brother and sister were, bringing into the house, and it was like Led Zeppelin, Sabbath, AC/DC, Neil Young, Jimi Hendrix. That's what first, that group of rock hit me first, and and Deep Purple as well.
But I'm sure you listen to other things as well. There's definitely influences there, like the Doors and
oh my God, like yeah. Well, that was the first thing, but I mean, yeah, Jefferson Airplane, the Doors, that would definitely be included in all that, and even early Floyd as well, which I love.
So, with all this eclectic taste, obviously it's definitely apparent on this new mini album. Can we expect to hear that sort of thing on the full album?
Yeah, definitely. It's it will make sense. It's a kind of gentle and natural progression to the full album. Some of the songs that are on the mini album will be on the full album anyway, but it'll be in different surroundings. We put segues sometimes between the songs, and yeah, I promise you it won't throw you.
And what are your plans for the immediate future? What are Goldray up to at this moment?
Well, we're kind of in it's strange. We've got some label interest, so we've got some meetings with some labels. So we've kind of stopped booking gigs for the rest of the summer and autumn, just in case we, and especially since Download Festival, we've had a great response, and I've got a feeling we might get some tasty supports over the autumn. So we've deliberately sort of knocked the gigs, if you like, on the head a little bit until we find where we stand with all of this, because things could, I don't want to be booking gigs and then suddenly turn around and saying, we're supporting so-and-so, we can't do it. I hate turning gigs down, do you know what I mean? Or shitting on promoters. I never like to do that. So we're doing that. We've also written a couple of new tunes, as I said earlier on, which is very exciting. So there could be at least one, possibly two songs going on the album than we thought we would have. So we've got vocals to do on. We've done drums, bass and guitar on those songs, thankfully. And it's a case of working on the vocals back here. Me and Leah record here at home. We've got some great mics and preamps and stuff, and thankfully the neighbours are quite quiet during the day. So
that's what you're up to at the moment. No immediate plan. Have you got any gigs in the pipeline at the moment that anyone can go out and find you at?
Yeah, we do have. There's a festival in the Isle of Wight called Post Fest, which we're doing, and we will be doing a gig in Sheffield. I can't remember the name of the venue at the moment, but yeah, it's like it's kind of a cool rock venue in Sheffield. It's like the rock venue in town, 350 capacity or so. Mm-hmm. And we will be booking gigs, maybe, because at the end of the year we're thinking of probably releasing a single. So as we go into winter and probably into the new year, we're going to be thinking of touring. So we're keeping our powder dry for that.
Fantastic. Just want to wish you the very, very best of luck with all of that, because you're a nice bunch of people, and you don't often come across people like that. And it's always a pleasure to meet you. And Wish you the very best of luck, and thanks ever so much for joining us.
Not a problem, mate. Have a good one, man.
And you.
Bye now.